Those who say that the all-pervasive Brahma resides above are wrong. No doubt he remains above, but his remaining in that state is a partial and spatial expression, not his full manifestation. Had he any replica, Pratima, he would have been confined to a particular space, but he has none. The derivative meaning of Pratima is a thing in its miniature form. If an object, however big it might be, is circumscribed by demarcating lines, one can easily create a miniature form to make it easier for the common masses to understand. The Earth, the Pacific Ocean, and the solar system are big, but they are not infinite, and thus can be displayed on a map or a chart. The simplistic statement, "I am trying to discover consciousness in a clay image," may sound pleasing to the ear, but logically is totally unacceptable, for it is merely an expression of sentiment. The Supreme Consciousness exists in all countries and in all ages equally. There is no question of confining him within something limited. All talk of his invocation, installation, or immersion in the form of a deity is meaningless. Also, the question of whether a particular day is auspicious or inauspicious for the worship of the Supreme Entity is of no significance whatsoever. The only way to become ensconced in his all-pervasive macrocosmic stance is to practice Brahma sadhana, to merely cherish an ardent desire that the Supreme Entity will appear before one in the form of a human being, to fulfill one's every wish, will not help one to attain the supreme goal. Those who claim that their God appeared before them and granted them boons or prescribed medicine for their ailments after they performed a long dhara, sitting in front of a deity for a long time, in the expectation of receiving a divine message, misled themselves. Their visions of gods and goddesses are created out of their own mind, stuff, due to their mental concentration. And the so-called divine message comes from the vast fold of cognition of their own causal mind. It is the latent omniscience of their own causal mind which confirms the information already received by the Manomaya Kosha. Knowledge from the unconscious mind seeps into the conscious. If you want to compare one object with another, you will have to select an object which has similar qualities. For example, you can give someone an idea about the whiteness of lime, by them showing curd because both of them are white. Similarly, you can give someone an idea about the taste of sugarcane molasses by giving them date molasses to eat, because both are sweet. But you cannot give anyone an idea about the nature of water by showing them a piece of iron, because they are different categories of objects. Likewise, if you want to convey the concept of Brahma, you will have to take the help of another entity like Brahma. But there is no second entity like him. He is beyond comparison. He is the infinite entity, the embodiment of supreme bliss, existence and knowledge personified. So to make a comparison, you require a finite object, which is infinite and supremely blissful. But how can the finite become infinite? Hence no finite object can be his replica. The Rishi says, the Supreme Entity, who has no periphery, whose glory and excellence have no end, can never have any replica of his own. Na sandrishe tishtati rupa masyana shakshusha pashyati kashya naenam hridadrishtam manasha ya enam evam vidura mritaste bhavanti. Nowhere in the universe can you see his full form because your limited optical nerves are unable to perceive him in his entirety. If you say that Paramapurusha exists in a certain place of pilgrimage, it is as good as saying that he does not exist in any other part of the universe. He has no special form, nor does he occupy any special place. Your crude eyes can only perceive the spatial factor and nothing beyond. As his expression is not limited to any particular space, he does not come within the scope of sense perception. In such circumstances, how can one attain him? One has to make the mirror of one's existential eye, Bodhitattva, which contains the urges for action, absolutely spotless. As long as the existential eye is covered with layers of darkness, it cannot reflect cosmic consciousness. It will not be visible on that defective mental plate. To realize his manifestation in the vast sky of your inner mind, you will have to make your mental plate absolutely clean and spotless through the process of sadhana. In this process of mental purification, you will experience that the Supreme Entity has come within your inner mind, Bodhitattva, and has established its contact with the inner core of your heart. Remember that he is only attainable through radiation. You will never find him in the temples and mosques, the churches and the synagogues. He is not to be found anywhere externally, for he has already taken shelter in the sanctuary of your inner mind. Sadhana is the endeavor for self-purification, Atma Shuddhi, and mental purification, Chitta Shuddhi. Those who take a holy dip in the river Ganges at sundown after spending the day robbing people and accepting bribes are not the followers of Dharma, nor are those who build churches, mosques, temples, and pilgrims rest houses with part of their huge fortune amassed through black marketing and adulteration. They cannot escape the results of their sins in this way. Those who commit sinful deeds accumulate a crude bundle of samskaras, a heavy load which no one else can carry. But if you make your mental mirror absolutely spotless, Paramapurusha will appear in your mind with all his effulgence, fill your entire being with immeasurable bliss. It is true that the emancipation of one entity does not lead to the emancipation of other entities. Suppose a lotus has been placed in the middle of a circle of 10 mirrors. Its reflection will be most distinct on the cleanest mirror, and only by observing that reflection can one acquire proper knowledge about that particular lotus. If you look at the other mirrors, you won't get anything like a clear image of the lotus. Is the lotus to be blamed for the imperfect images? No, the defect lies with the mirrors. Intuition can be likened to the microcosmic mirror. That mirror, which attains the cosmic one, due to its spotlessness, is liberated. The rest are not. The macrocosmic entity is not to be blamed for that. The fault lies with the microcosm, for it does not try to remove the layers of darkness from its mind. Intuition is the reflection of incoming perception, the reflection of psychic assimilation. But where intuition has not been awakened, no incoming perception is reflected on it, and that is why an object is called matter. This matter has no capacity of internal assimilation, and as such is completely guided by the cosmic will.